Hey folks, this is me returning. Glad to be back from the horror that was university exams. But I am done with those, and I am back on the channel. And I'm quite sad because I was excited about returning and excited about coming back to give my viewpoint on things, and I was pumped after SmackDown being an excellent show. I did see it, and it was very well put together, and I am back to review WWE Raw for the 4th of May 2009, and it wasn't just a huge anticlimax, it wasn't just disappointing, it was one of the most depressingly horrible WWE TV shows I've ever seen. It was a total mess, a total shambles, and just not of an appropriate level. It really, next to Friday's SmackDown, was an absolute total embarrassment. We kicked off with supposedly Randy Orton, WWE Champion, to take on Shane McMahon. Now, a recurring theme throughout the night that annoyed me was Shane McMahon is not a wrestler, and yet WWE is perpetuating the idea that not only can Legacy, two full-time professional athletes, not only can they not hold their own against Shane McMahon, but the WWE Champion, Randy Orton, one of the most skilled technicians that the WWE has on their roster, a grafter, a personality, someone that is really top of the range. Even he can't hold his own against Shane McMahon. Are we really meant to believe that? Is that good for business? How is that good for business? I know you have to make heels look not overly strong. The faces always have to look strong, but they have to look kind of strong. Your heel champions, they can't just be fools, they can't just be idiots. And that's what Randy Orton's coming across like right now. He's coming across like a coward who can't hold his own. And it's not acceptable, it just doesn't work, it doesn't make any sense. You know, if you wanted to have Batista overpower him, you know, I hate Batista, but at least I would understand where that was coming from. But Shane McMahon? Really? This is the best they can come up with on Raw? Their flagship show? The show that's meant to be the absolute epitome of what this product is. I can't understand it. Anyway, you have Shane come down to the ring and Randy Orton come down to the ring, and it's basically just a massive ambush. Legacy on Shane McMahon. They try and take him out, try and beat him down, and then you have MVP, who got a little bit of a push last week, which was nice, come down, and then MVP basically get totally dominated by Legacy. Then you have Batista come down and destroy Legacy, which just makes MVP look like an idiot. And then you have Vicky Guerrero come out during this brawl and say, I'm the general manager, I'm going to assert my authority. She doesn't want to be overpowered, so she says that it's going to be, in the main event, we're going to see Randy Orton against Shane McMahon again. Great. But before that, we're going to see a win-and-you're-in style series of matches. Singles matches, Cody Rhodes against MVP, and Batista against Ted DiBiase, and the winner of each match gets to team up with the person they're affiliated with in the final match. So you could have a tag match, or you could have a 3-on-1 handicap match, basically. So I'm thinking, great, I'm going to have to watch these people more than once in one evening. Batista, Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, you know, even MVP, and I like MVP, I don't really want to see him twice in one evening. I just thought, this is not what Raw has to offer. There's so much more on Raw. Or at least I thought there was. Now next, we had a segment, I believe it was next, and this was the high point of the evening. And much as I appreciate Santino Marella's mic skills and promo skills, that should not be the high point of a 2-hour wrestling show. But it was. Santino Marella says that on Superstars there's going to be Kelly Kelly and Santina are going to feature in a tag team match. Great. And Chavo Guerrero appears and he makes fun of Vicky Guerrero, makes a swine flu joke because she looks like a pig and makes some really funny pig noises. She does look like a pig. So Santino asserts himself as easily the funniest and most charismatic man on the mic in the WWE. I mean, he's cemented himself in WWE because even though he can't wrestle, he is hilarious, genuinely funny. And Chavo gets annoyed, but nobody cares about Chavo. So then we move on to, they bring Matt Hardy out again, and I'm convinced that this having a cast on his arm gimmick is just to cover up for the fact that he can't wrestle. It's just to cover up for his limited ring abilities. Out comes Kofi Kingston, and they proceed to have a terrible match, which is no more than I would expect of Matt Hardy. He's awful. But Kingston actually wins after the Trouble in Paradise, but I don't understand what the match is meant to achieve. You know, I mean, I don't know where it's going. I have no idea what direction this is moving in. My analytical comments on this Raw are probably going to be a little bit infrequent because there wasn't much to analyse. There wasn't much in-ring action to really get into. It was very poor. Sloppy match, and I didn't really enjoy it. It's nice to see Kofi Kingston put over, but I didn't really feel that it was going anywhere. I didn't feel what this was building up to. It doesn't feel like there's a build-up. So Matt Hardy just loses, and Kofi Kingston doesn't appear to be moving in any direction. Next we have a backstage segment where the Big Show goes backstage and says hi to Vicky, and I don't know if they're going for sexual tension or aggressive tension or breakup tension. There was a really uncomfortable, aggressive edge on the Big Show towards Vicky Guerrero tonight, and it was actually quite unpleasant. It wasn't really, I didn't feel like it worked. And he demands John Cena. He demands a shot at John Cena because apparently he wants to end Cena's career. And Vicky Guerrero says Cena's not fit to compete for 2 weeks, so she can't make the match. And she says she'll make a match for Judgment Day. So at Judgment Day we're going to have the thrill of watching the Big Show against John Cena. Woohoo! Next we had Cody Rhodes MVP, which was the match Winning You're In. Terrible. No real interesting offense whatsoever. I mean, really nothing much. MVP hit his traditional, usual offense, but hit it seemingly in a lackluster fashion. It wasn't up to his usual standards, and Rhodes was just a non-entity throughout the whole contest. Working on the leg. Now, in special commentary, for no apparent reason, we had William Regal. And I've heard William Regal say in the past that he wants to be a commentator when he retires from wrestling. It's not going to happen because he is terrible at commentary. Really bad. I really like William Regal. I respect him in the ring. I think he's really good. But terrible. Talks about how there's a pecking order and how MVP doesn't respect it and how he shouldn't feel like he can call it the WWE champion as he did last week because he's a newcomer in Raw. Regal's been there a long time and he feels like he's not involved in the animated picture, which is kind of true. I think he's being neglected. But Rhodes working the leg, and while MVP's on the apron outside, William Regal does a chop block on MVP's leg, and apparently this is enough to get MVP, the US champion, counted out. So MVP loses the match, and Rhodes is in later. Great, I have to watch Cody Rhodes again. Seemingly setting up a William Regal MVP US title feud. That could be interesting. That could be quite good in the ring. I think they could complement each other quite well. So that was one of the few positives I would say about tonight's Raw, was William Regal MVP. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling a little more exposure for William Regal on the television, and I think MVP needs someone who's a bit of a technician to stretch him out. I think that'll be good. I think it'll be interesting. I don't think it's any threat to MVP's title reign, but I think it'll be interesting. Next, we had possibly the most depressing segment I have ever seen on WWE programming. We had a singing contest. Yes, this is worse than the dancing contest on SmackDown. We had a singing contest introduced by Jerry Lawler between Jillian Hall and Festus. The two of them might as well have been singing "Please Release Me." That was what it sounded like, because releasing is all that is good for these two people. Jillian can't wrestle, Festus can't wrestle, they have no charisma, their gimmicks are stale. I don't care about someone who can't sing, I don't care about someone who wakes up when the bell rings. It's embarrassing use of television space. Please release them. Awful. Awful. And then this segment continued to get more bizarre and directionless, which I will talk about in part 2.